everyone, it's Tracy Martirana here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Thank you for joining me. Here where I live, today is going to be a beautiful spring day. The sun is already shining. It looks like the weather is going to get up into the high 70s, so it's actually going to feel like summer, but yet it's still spring. I've spent my morning sitting here enjoying some coffee with a piece of paper, scrap piece of paper, sort of mapping out what I want to do with my gardens this year. We live in the village, so our yard is fairly small. Therefore, we don't have a huge garden. We just plant a little bit in a few beds that we have, around the yard. One is right outside the door that we come in and out of all the time. There, I typically plant a lot of herbs. We have a little garden in the back of the house where I also plant some herbs and perennials. And then we have a raised bed further back in the yard where in the past we've done vegetables. However, in the last couple of years, we've struggled with this because we have some neighboring trees that have gotten bigger, and now our yard is getting shadier and shadier. So I think we're going to switch that up a little bit and try to plant a few more just shade accepting flowers back there and bring some of the vegetables up in maybe either pots or in the herb gardens themselves. And then some vegetables we're just going to give up on and shop at the farmer's market. Now, I mentioned my herb garden. I have right outside my door, which is great, an herb garden that has a couple perennials or annuals that reseed themselves. I have sage and thyme. I have dill, cilantro, and chamomile that come back themselves. And then I also typically put in there basil and parsley. Sometimes I used to have oregano in there, and that comes back. That's a perennial here. But I found I didn't really use it, so I dug it up to make space for other things. In the back of the house, I have chives. I have some echinacea in another little spot. I have mints. But I want to up my medicinal herb level a little bit. So I have a few that I want to plant. So I thought today I will take you out, let you see what my gardens look like in the spring. They're not pretty, I'll tell you that. But then you can compare them maybe later this summer. I will show you again so you can see how nice they look versus what they look like in the spring. So come join me. Let's walk outside and take a look at the gardens. So here is my first garden. This is our herb garden right outside the door. You can see a little thyme plant here, and we just have some flowering bulbs. That is a sage bush, and then sort of this whole area right here just ends up being sort of a mix-up of dill, chamomile, and cilantro because it just reseeds itself. So typically we also add parsley and basil to this. I think we're also going to bring a couple tomato plants into here and our peppers. We like to do hot peppers, so we'll probably put a tomato in here, maybe one over here, and then do some parsley, some basil, and then put some peppers in along this front and see how that goes. This whole area here, that's a little Christmas tree that still needs to be planted in the ground. We typically have a little cafe table here that we sit out here and have breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. So it's nice to have this space and be surrounded by herbs. When I look back at the house, sort of back that way where I came from, we also tend to put potted plants here. So there's currently a little olive tree that just came back out after being on our sun porch for the winter. We have a lemon tree that we're not too sure how that's doing, that will come out, and then we'll have some other potted plants here. I'm thinking I will do sort of a window box type thing here with peas and let them climb up, and then we have a little hanger that hangs from the top of this for another window box where I will probably put some chard and lettuces. This is our screened in patio. Around the sides you can see there's sort of beds around the side. We just dug up a couple shrubs that were here. Typically there's several hostas that come up along through here, and I think we're going to plant a couple black elderberries and see how they do, because I would love to have fresh elderberries. Looking at the back of the house, this is another bed. This one is a little loosey-goosey. It needs some work. There is, I know that looks like a little stick sticking out. That is a lilac that we dug up and we're trying to keep it alive. There is a poppy. There's actually some oregano that just sort of reseeded itself. I'll probably just leave that there. Lemon balm. I have chives on each side. And this is where I will probably maybe widen this off, make it a little bit bigger, and add in a few more medicinal herbs, which I'll talk about that when we're done looking around. Some bonsai trees. Yes, again, spring is not my favorite time to be outside. The yard just isn't very pretty. This old watering pump, around the back of it is echinacea, and then you can see the bulbs in front, but that's also where some different peppermints will come up. And my raised bed, which is pretty ridiculous looking at the moment. There are some flowers planted in here because last year we decreased the amount of vegetables a little bit as well. We're going to decrease even more this year. But I typically plant either radishes or chard and lettuce up in this high place. We actually did that. We did the raised section with the intent of doing carrots in there. And then in the end, we realized it's really just the best place to keep the rabbits and woodchucks from eating anything. So chard and lettuce tend to go in there, even though they will crawl up there and eat it. Most of this right now is weeds. Down at the very end, we do have some garlic coming in. So this whole end place is all just garlic. And this is my yard. So back along that fence, ferns will come up. And then over here, we have a couple boxwoods are planted here. A lot of hostas will come up here. Yeah, lots of hostas. And a couple shrubs that have seen better days that probably need to be addressed. Now, the last thing is just on the back of my garage or my screen and patio. We have this little box over here. We tend, that's all spearmint will grow there. So we got lots of spearmint. And then this little area right here, I have a big morning glory that will come up, and we have a trellis that we put up. So the herbs that I am thinking of planting, I think I'm going to add to the garden, the little garden right in the back of the house. And I want to add skullcap because that's just a very nice stress reliever, sort of a relaxing herb, great for like an evening tea along with my chamomile. I will probably put in some calendula, which for one is just pretty, the bright orange flowers, but it's very useful in making salves, or even as a tea. It's good for your digestive system. It's just very soothing, very nice herb. Lemon verbena I will probably purchase to put in a pot, mostly just because I love the way it smells. I mean, lemon balm is nice because it smells like lemon, but lemon verbena just has a slight sweetness or perfuminess to it that just makes it even better than lemon balm. And let's see, holy basil I want to plant. That doesn't taste anything like the culinary basil. It's meant just to be tea. You might also have know it as tulsi. It is just a very good tonic herb. It's good for your immunity and just overall health. So I would like to have some of that. And lastly, I think I'm going to try to plant ashwagandha and see how that grows here. That is sort of like an Indian ginseng. It's just an overall tonic, good for energy, good for stress, good for sleep. Like, it's just overall good, right? So I don't tend to start a lot of plants by seed because I've not had good luck with that. So I'm going to order these medicinal herbs through a company called the Growers Exchange. I have not used them before. I don't know how it will go, so I will try to remember to let you know what I think of them once I get the plants and get them in, and we'll see how they do. So that's it. That is my yard. This is what it looks like in spring. I would love to hear what you're planting in your gardens this year. So please, in the comments, let me know. Let me know what you're planting, what you do with your vegetables or your herbs. I know a lot of people plant them, grow them, and then just give them away because they can't use them all. Some people can things, some people, just I would love to hear your experience with gardening. Let me know. Again, my name is Tracy Martirana, and I use my knowledge of nutrition, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, and herbs to bring you information and inspiration to help you live a healthy, happy, and balanced life. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button, like my videos, share them with your friends. Doing so lets YouTube know that people are interested in content like mine. Thanks, and have a great day.